Hello students, in this class we'll start with the unit 2 of your subject web programming, and the unit 2 is JavaScript and XHTML documents and dynamic documents with JavaScript. Now we'll go for the first part of the JavaScript and XHTML document. These are the syllabus portion of your subject for this unit. Here we'll have some brief introduction to the JavaScripts, DOM objects, their object hierarchies, some events and DOM tree, modifications, etc. In dynamic documents with JavaScript, we will learn about the steps and the procedures in identifying the events, changing the visibility, colors, fonts, etc. I will start with the JavaScript execution environment. JavaScript execution environment utilizes the DOM model, document object model. Here the browser window is specified or implemented as a hierarchy of classes, and those classes objects are created, and in JavaScript we are using such type of objects, and programmatically we can make some changes. In JavaScript execution, every browser window can be identified by an object that's called here is window. Window is here is, and the properties of window object are visible to all JavaScript scripts. That means here is window object properties are just like global variable. In JavaScript, every displayed HTML or XHTML document can be identified by document object, and document is shown within a browser window. So here is window is at higher level than the document, or we can consider window as the parent class for document object. That is here is property, or in another word, in correct way, window object has a property named document. So which is a reference to the document that the window displays. As we already know, any web page can contain more than one forum. So those forums are identified by forums array. That means every document object can have one forums array where each element in that forum is represented as a member in the forums array. Each forums array has an elements array, as already told, as a property which contains other objects such as buttons, inputs, etc. Along with these forums and elements, document also have other properties like anchors, links, images, and applets. And also there are many other objects that comes under the hierarchy below the window object. Here the object hierarchy taken from the JavaScript documentation website. Observe here is current window. Under that a property document object. That document object has the forums object and also anchors, links, images, applets. Again, forums may have many other elements, that is elements array. It may have element objects for example input, select, text area, etc. Again, select may contain a array, that is options. So this is the hierarchy of objects. As already told, window also has some other objects as properties, that is navigator, frames, locations, screen, etc. In our subject, just we'll deal with only window, document, and forums and elements. Document object model is developed by World Wide Web Consortium since the mid 1990s. This was developed to introduce a uniformity in the development of document web technologies and also to provide the necessary support for all the web developers throughout the world. Even today, World Wide Web Consortium is responsible for the development of document object model. This is a specification. DOM is a specification that would allow Java programs and JavaScripts that deal with HTML or XHTML document that is to be portable among various browsers. There are many type of browsers are there, and in the initial days every browser developers introduced their own specific features, so that leads to incompatibilities between the different browsers for a same web page. That was the earlier problem, and that problem was solved by introducing a standardizing community, that W3C, and they are introducing the necessary technology standards. DOM actually it is an application programming interface, that is API, that defines an interface between XHTML document and application programs. DOM 0, the initial version that is implemented in Netscape version 3.0 and Internet Explorer 3.0 browsers. DOM 1 introduced, that is issued in 1998 as the first, that is after the formation of W3C, and DOM 2 issued in November 2000 with the support for style sheet object model, that is CSS, we already studied in the previous semester. DOM 3 introduced support for XML, that is schema support, document type definitions, and document validations also, mainly it is for XML. And DOM 4 that is introduced in 2015 with the newer enhancements. Objects are created based on the code. So here is DOM tree. So in the exam they may ask a question, explain with a simple code and tree about the DOM tree hierarchy. Here is a simple HTML. Observe that it's HTML, not an XHTML, because in XHTML there are many tags which are mandatory. We must and should type it. We should not ignore it. Hence, I took HTML code, and also case are not strictly followed for the tags. Here is T capital, rows are completely row uppercase, and likewise others are also here also. Here is table tag, and the table contains a pair of tag, that is rows, and under rows there are two pair of tr tag, opening and closing, and within tr tags there is table data cell, that is cell data tags, likewise in another row also. These are internally represented by the browser by DOM objects model. So table contains rows, row contains two tr elements, and every tr contains two data cell tags, that is, and here is the actual value contained within the element, that is car, or that is it is here. Likewise scooter is here, and also motorbike is here. That means here is DOM provides a programming interface for developers. We can access elements by using JavaScript. An element means here is I can write code in JavaScript such that I can make some changes in this content. Instead of scooter, I can make it as a jeep or any other word, and that is made possible by implementing the document object model JavaScript objects. So there are several ways. That's only these three ways are there. I can access elements by using JavaScript codes in any web document. That is by using forums and elements array of DOM that is specified for a particular web page. Or I can use a name of the element that is specified with the each and every element. Using name I can make some changes, or I can use get element by id, get element by id method in JavaScript. Here is the first method, element access by forums and elements array. As already told in the previous slide, I will go to the slide here there. Observe that document, it has forums, then elements. Here is document has a forums array which represents collection of forum, that forums. Every forum is an element which itself contains several elements. Series forums and elements array of document object are used to access the element. So observe that there is only one forum in this document. In this document only one forum, and we are not given any name for this. So let us forget, ignore other part. But here is in the forum there is one element input, and name is given for that element, that is name is equal to turn it on. If I want to specify, that means if I want to access this element such that I can make some changes in this tag by using this forums array, observe that the object document dot forums 0, that means first element in the array forums, where that element is nothing but a forum, forums of 0, that is one forum. So since there is only one forum in this web page, so forums 0 specifies directly this forum. And this forum, that's the first for 0th forum, contains only one elements. So this element code, that's elements of 0, again specifies only one element, that is input tag. It's a simplest method, but it has a drawback. For example, for any reason, if the web page developer introduce a new input tag here, or if we inserted a new button, or if we inserted a anchor tag, in that case, because of the hierarchy, element 0 does not specify the same input tag element in the next case. Instead of that, it will go for next element. So using this indexed array names is not so suitable for in a large scale web page manipulations. Next method is using name of element. As given in the previous one, here is also name is given, but that name is not utilized in the code. Instead of that, I have specified elements 0. So now we'll go for the name. Here name is given, and most important point you have to observe that forum also has a name here. So this is document. So this is the document, and there is only one forum, but since the forum has a name, I will use this name. Inside the forum there is only one element, I can use that name also. So using the name attributes, the button's DOM address is as follows, that is document, which specifies entire document. In that, my forum dot turn it on. So this specifies forum, and this specifies the input tag. And the advantage is that if you have specified the name uniquely, then order of elements in the group, that is in the forum, is not important, and any changes you make in the page or the web page, that does not affect the existing code execution, because we have used the name, and in most of the cases the name is provided uniquely. Elements access can be done by using the get element by id. Check the name here is by id. From HTML version 4 onwards, id is given for any name, any element, which is always unique throughout the web document. So you may think that we are using name also. Of course, name is also supported, but in some cases the attribute name is shared by a group of elements of same type. For example, checkboxes, radio buttons. Whereas in the ID, every element can have unique element throughout the web pages. So if I used ID, then by using the get element by ID, I can directly get the reference for the element, and I can specify and store that reference in a variable like this. So same is in the case in the previous window. Here is I am accessing the element like this by using the name, and here is button term is the reference for the specified element. Now coming to the next slide. So here is advantage is that if you have used the ID, I need not to specify the path. It can be anywhere in any hierarchy level within the web document. We just specify the name, that is document dot get element by ID, and the name of the element. And in most of the cases, it can be the parameter passed to get element can be any expression that evaluates a string, and in most of the cases a variable name or name of an element. Once again, I'll come to the previous slide. Observe here. I have used document dot myforum dot turn it on. These are the name. If forum contains some other groups, within the group one more group, then what happens here is that document name, then the forum name, then the group name, then second group name, third group name, and if exists there may be element name. But in the third method, that is get element by id, I need not to specify any such path of the hierarchy. Just give document, call the get element by id and use the id of the element. Here is one more why we have to use the name even though it is not recommended in XHTML. Buttons in a radio button group always have the same name. In some cases, the ID attribute may not be suitable while accessing element in a group. You may think why it is like that. In a group of radio buttons, let's assume there are 10 radio buttons and we can select only one of them during the web page rendering, and all those 10 individual buttons may have unique ID attribute but they can share same name. And the situation is such that I want to check which one is checked. That means which checkbox or which radio button is checked in a particular group. In that case, using of ID attribute is not so useful because we have to keep track of all the ID and those ID may be given in a different manner. Instead of that, if a common name is given to that group, then by using index we can identify a particular element. So for example, here is implicit array. Okay, example is given in the next slide. Here is the provided here is name. Instead of name, we'll go for array names is also utilized, that is index. Here every group of element as an array which has the same name as the group name, that is we are just like name is given which stores the addresses, that DOM addresses the individual buttons in the group. Now we'll go for the next slide. Okay, it is repeated slide. Here is the example. I just given only a part of the XHTML code. This is the forum. Observe that forum is used as a group here, and there are three check boxes. One is here, second one, and third one is here. And every checkbox shares the same name. Shares the same name. Even though they may have different values, they are all accessed by same name. This is the associated text element with the checkbox. So forum ends here is in JavaScript. This is not the same file. Here it's a XHTML code and this is JavaScript code. Observe that I am getting the forum element first because I have to access this one through forum element. Document get element by ID vehicle group. I will extract the forum ID, that is here. Then index equals 0 in the for loop. Index less than forum FRM dot vehicles. What is vehicles here is? This is name of the group, that is vehicles array. where each element in the vehicles array represents a checkbox. Since it is an array, so which follows the syntax of the Java, so array name dot length, that is frm dot vehicles dot length index plus plus, this you already know. And here, sorry, it must be frm. I have to change this. frm dot vehicles index dot checked. If the specified indexed checkbox is checked, then I will increment the number of checked variable, that is num checked variable is incremented by 1. Again I am repeating, this is not done, there is a typo here, is it is frm because I have used frm here, so it should be frm